Hello, everybody. I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney, and on this channel, we normally answer publicly posted questions from YouTube users, getting folks the answers they need from an employment attorney. But today, we have the incomparable Ariela Steinhorn, publicist to the stars, in many ways. Really, more. What's the phrase? You
Story
midwife for
midwife.
stories, right?
Yeah, story midwife is what the New York Times said a while ago. But yeah,
I love that.
writer, journalist. I'm on Substack, if you're familiar with Substack, which I heard someone describe as like a TikTok for slightly more intellectual people. um, and yeah, and I tell a lot of workplace stories and help people bring forward information about their workplaces, connect them to wonderful lawyers like Vince. So that's me.
Too kind. Yeah, I think you've helped so many people. I mean, I don't think I watched you
Thank
help so
you.
many people. I love it. Okay, so we've got our weekend show. We're going to split this into two episodes, probably a Saturday and a Sunday. We've got some news stories. I think starting with Coldplay.
We do. This is what everyone's talking about,
Yeah.
regardless of like what corner of the internet you're on. And if you haven't seen this, you're probably under a rock somewhere. But the CEO of a company called, I believe, Astronomer, was seen at a Coldplay concert with his head of HR, and it was one of those camera situations where they film random people in the audience who look cute, or they have like their kiss cam where couples can kiss, and then they have kids dancing around, and the camera just tracks people who look like they're having a good time, or I guess have an interesting story to them. And this couple did have an interesting story. He was the CEO of this company and she was his head of HR, and they are both married. Probably not that much longer. And not only that, uh, an HR manager or director was with them. So it begs the question of like how many people in the company were aware of this relationship when the camera like panned to them and they saw themselves on the big screen. He kind of looked astounded and like ducked. She turned her back to the camera laughing, and then the HR person, like the lower level HR person, was giggling in the corner. So it was, I mean, it's just everywhere. And I think the internet always has glee when they find people who they suspect are cheating. And I think that, I mean, I wonder what is going on with their company right now. Like, will he stay? Will she stay? Um, I think that the guy's wife changed her name on LinkedIn and like removed his last name from her last name.
Wow.
And I think that, I mean, it is one of those viral moments that only happens like once every so often where everybody knows it and everybody is talking about it. Um, so they must have crisis publicists at this point. And who knows? If it's a private company, maybe he sticks around. If it's a public company, I don't know. What do you think, Vince? Like, what would you do if? I mean, it's not like this head of HR was bringing a sexual harassment lawsuit against the guy. They clearly were like canoodling in a
No, she looks
relationship.
happily,
She looks
yeah,
happy.
happily interacting, right?
Yeah. So it's not like, yeah. What are the ramifications, do you think, for him, for her?
I mean, there is technically a claim because there's a power disparity. I don't think she wants that claim, right? But at the end of the day, a CEO is higher than the chief people person, which I believe is her title, her role, which is an HR position, right? So listen, she has a claim. She doesn't seem like she wants it. She seems perfectly happy. She may feel differently now if her marriage has been impacted, but who knows? Um, Listen, if he's profitable for them, they're probably going to try to keep him. It's not like he's being abusive. It's not like he's, excuse me, to our knowledge, actively trying to harm anyone. It is what it is to some extent. I hate to see it because he should have just had a conversation with his wife, right? Like, hey,
Mm.
I think I want to maybe see this person. And maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But if you're upfront about it, it's a politeness standard instead of a spy game. He's out there playing a spy game. That's sad. That's a bummer. No way to live. We're adults here, right? Like just consent. People consent, you have conversations, whatever. But I guess that's just my thought. Could they fire them all? Sure. Should Is there an argument for firing the HR person? In this context, no, because she's the victim technically, which is an aggressive statement because although we have to view her as a victim, I don't think she views herself as a victim. Um, but also like this is her whole job, right? His job is to make the money and run the company. Her job is to not have things like this happen. So
Yeah,
there's some
absolutely.
part of me that's like, well, of course he's an idiot, but like, shouldn't she
Right.
have known better a little bit? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and it almost they were so brazen
Yeah,
to go out and I mean, to be fair, it's not like they expected to have this camera on them at this massive concert. But at the
sure.
time they were in a public space. Like it's pretty brazen to be in front of like another HR person at the company, like hugging and kissing and like it's almost like all of these things aligned. They were doing all these things prior to that moment that just made it
Yeah.
so much worse. And it's like
Yeah.
they looked like people who never thought that they could be caught in such a way.
And that's so interesting because they're in a what I assume is a $10,000 balcony at a Coldplay concert. You know what I mean? Like, oh, who's gonna look at me in my $10,000 balcony up above everybody else? Well, everybody. Literally, you're paying to be looked at in part, right? Like, I don't know. Yeah, it's just it's sad because people got hurt. I don't think
Yeah,
from a sexual harassment standpoint, probably nothing comes of it. Hopefully, they can all go on with their lives. Hopefully, the spouses who were
yeah.
harmed, you know, get closure,
I
I
also
guess.
think that there's this the internet loves to be like shocked and awed by things like this,
Yeah.
but I think this is far more common than any of us even know. Maybe
Oh,
it's not
100%.
head of HR, but there's so many people having secret workplace relationships like this, or not so secret, at a public Coldplay concert. And
Mhm.
I also think that CEOs, from my knowledge of them, they're so obsessed with their work. Number one, number two, they're kind of lonely and sad people because they. I'm not defending him at all. Like I think it's you can still keep it in your pants and be a CEO, but like they're lonely and sad,
Heard that.
and the idea that someone who's helping that CEO manage all of his people management issues, that there would be some sort of a bond if there's like an underlying attraction there, and then that would escalate and that would turn into something. Like to me, that's not shocking at all. It's actually kind of predictable.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, how many relationships do we even know in our personal lives where like one of the partners in a relationship is like, "Hey, you're not great with people, but I am, and that's part of what we share," That like I certainly know people whose emotions are actively managed by their partner in real
Yeah,
time. 100%.
absolutely.
I'm really good at X, Y, and Z in life, not good at emotions. Not me, but just this hypothetical person. And their
Yeah,
spouse is like, I got you. I will run your emotional life for you. And that is a real thing that happens. And I've always thought when you get those stories like, my spouse died and then the person passed 10 days later because they couldn't go on. I truly believe those people were like, they grew together to an extent where one of them was managing the emotional load or something. And the other person, the survivor, was just like, oh yeah, I'm not going back. I'm not gonna
absolutely.
figure this out. I'm not gonna have feelings again. You're gone. You manage that for me. I will be following. Like I think that is what
Absolutely.
happens. What?
They become one being, I think, these couples that you're talking
Truly.
about,
Yeah.
where there's this symbiosis and like dependency that exists between them to
Yeah.
have to
And it's beautiful. A
navigate the
little less
world.
beautiful here because
Yeah,
of the lies,
especially
but
right. Yeah. And I think that lies like that always get found out in very dramatic ways.
always,
I think the bigger
always.
the cover up, the bigger the like the scale of the situation, um the more dramatic the reveal. It seems to be almost this law of nature or something.
Yeah, I had this conversation with a lot of guys, a lot of middle-aged men, because as you say, middle-aged men. Well, you said CEOs, but a lot of
But
middle-aged men with a couple of coins in their pockets are sad creatures in a lot of ways. Like
yes.
it's kind of what we are. Um, and I'll just kind of be like, hey, so you do care about your spouse, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Have you considered like a politeness standard where you don't like you're upfront about things, but like you're not throwing things in her face and you have conversations and there's consent and like you don't cheat on her technically, like you have agreements. And guys can't seem to conceive of that. Like they want to play this cloak and dagger spy game,
Interesting.
and it's just like you don't have time for this. Like
I
what
know. I think part
you're
of it is that people want their needs met in different ways, but that's
yeah.
siloed. And they to break down those silos would mean that their needs are not met, which is a selfish standpoint. To
I mean, I always think of Bezos calling the new flame alive girl.
yeah,
What did that make the wife feel? The wife's not alive? You know, what a nickname. What a strange thing to do to someone that you built a life with, where you're calling this new person, "Oh, you're alive." What was I, dude? What a horrible I'm not alive. What a like and I totally get listen, different friends, different partners for different things. I think that makes so much sense. I think it's so logical. Just different people. We do different things with different people, right? I've got drinking buddies, I've got sports buddies, I've got podcast buddies, like you know what I mean? Like it's everything. But it's just it makes sense to have those silos, I think, especially in guys' minds a lot because always they're not always able to put everything together. Maybe
right.
like we could both be the people who cook together and the people who like joke together or whatever,
Yeah,
right? Like a lot of guys are like, no, no, that's the cook and drinking buddy, and this
right.
is the sex buddy, right? Like it's just yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's interesting. And no one person can fulfill everybody's needs unless they're part of that dynamic that you're describing where they're like enmeshed in
Yeah,
this way
the
where,
growing together, and
yeah,
that
they're
takes time, and people don't
right.
want to put in time. Yeah, well, this is much
Yep.
more. My main takeaway from this was I was joking about oh, this is a terrible way for people to find out you like Coldplay. And then like 10 people in my real life were like, I love Coldplay. And I was like, oh, I didn't I didn't even know that was possible. Like I don't hate Coldplay. I don't think it's like the worst band in the world, but like I do kind of think of
Yeah,
it as the death of rock and roll in some ways. And I was a little
right.
taken aback that people were like, no, I effing love Coldplay. I don't I don't co-sign this joke at all. And I was like, oh, my bad. All right. Okay. Sorry.
You've offended my
Clearly.
soul.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I Coldplay was like there was a period of time in my life where I listened to Coldplay. There was like a
So
period of like a
people
couple months where I would listen to like Yellow or Sparks, which are kind of sadder songs, and they would be my sad songs, and I would cry to these songs. And but it was like a very specific period of my life. And then oh, Fix You, I Will Fix You. It's
Oh, wow.
a song about fixing somebody
That's
else.
a very you sentiment.
Yeah, so I there was it definitely was a part of my life for a period of time. But I don't like love it. I'm not a super fan.
Everybody who like gave me pushback was like, no, 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 check the first two albums, which I actually think might be the same thing you're saying with some of those songs.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm almost to the point where I'm like, the people who said this to me, like I trust them. So I was like, I guess I'm gonna listen to two albums of Coldplay. Like, like
Hmm.
I fair enough. I made a joke. I'll pay the tax now, you know?
I
Like,
wonder if the CEO, if he sticks around, if he now is going to ban Coldplay from being played at any company event in the
I
future.
mean, it'd be like with the premiere of China banning pictures of Winnie the Pooh, right? Like
Totally. But
it,
that would be a great way to troll the CEO at a company party in the
oh,
future. Just
100%. That'd be
Coldplay pop
tremendous.
playlist. Um,
I can't even think of a Coldplay song to hum that would be appropriate, but that'd be amazing.
totally.